Meet Will and Tom, two seemingly ordinary men, cursed with a gift of vast knowledge that is forever expanding. Possessing incredible insight with unparalleled skills and expertise. Let us join them as they embark on a journey to quench their thirst for the truth while answering the questions to life's most intriguing mysteries. Let us open our minds and ask, dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Last week, we dove deep into the minds of Will and Tom, our two pioneers of the New World, as they thought about 50 of their most favorite things to bring into this new way of life. Let us continue our journey and see just where we end up in this seemingly unending imagination. And welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Case.
This is Will Stark.
Will, we finally get to continue what we started last week.
Yes, I'm very excited. We got through just under half my list.
I know, which was surprising. I thought we would, I wasn't sure if we would get through the whole thing. But yeah, probably after going through maybe 5 or 6 on my list, I was like, you know what? I think this is going to go longer, than we expected.
I think I was hopeful that we could get through it all, but yeah, within 5 or 6, I realized because we were spending too much time explaining.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is fine. It's just
I feel like that's like that's like the that was kind of the point a little bit. You know what I mean? Was because like you want to talk. Yeah, you want to talk, especially these are like things of ours that we really like and we're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe you are up next because I was the last item on our previous episode, and I had chosen the rain. Mm-hmm. So you're up next. We're still doing this 3 at a time.
Yeah, I see why. Why would we change the way we were going?
Yeah,
I liked it.
Okay.
Anyways, so yes, I am next, and to continue on, before you had your last 3, just to kind of remind everyone, the last ones of mine were kind of like snacks, right? They things that were, Monster Energy drinks, Cheetos of all kinds, right?
Right.
Well, it's going to continue on a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's one thing for dessert that I always try to look for, and there's not a lot of places I find that have this, but I love apple crumble.
Apple crumble,
sometimes
crumble pie?
Okay.
What is an apple pie?
Yeah, I was just about to explain this because sometimes they do call it. I've been places where it's basically the same dish or dessert, but they call it something slightly different. Sometimes I've heard them call it. I think they called it like apple pie crumb or apple crumbs or apple crumble or stuff like that, like some iteration of those
apple crumb pie
or apple crumb pie, some iteration of those words, right?
Okay.
But basically what it is an apple pie without the crust, right? It doesn't it does have the crust, but it's like very
very
crumbly, but like also very hard, like very crunchy. It's very crunchy. Right? Imagine if you had a slice of pie where the crust was slightly overcooked to where it's very, like I said, crunchy. Kind of like not necessarily. Like the crust is supposed to be a little flaky and a little. Yeah. Okay, imagine more of like
it's like a hard shell.
More of like if you poured in granola. Okay. Imagine that, right? But tasting of the crust flavor more, right? So usually it's served warm or hot with a scoop of vanilla ice cream with it. It's basically just eating, apple pie, but like instead of having a whole slice, it's just this goodness that comes in a bowl, and you just plop it in there.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's like they had a lot of leftover.
Exactly. If you know what,
hilarious.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I'm pretty sure there's probably some places that have. That's how they did that. Yeah. Was they probably also
exactly
serve apple pie?
Invented,
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's probably how it was invented.
So this is apple pie leavings is what you're bringing over to the New World, not apple pie itself.
Just the leavings. Yeah, I'm sure someone could reverse engineer this, right? And then all of a sudden say, "Hey, let's make an apple pie."
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, interesting choice.
The next thing I have is, and this is bar none. This is like whenever we get any kind of real, I guess, candy, you know, things. I'm not just talking about like regular candy, like sour gummy worms or something like that. No, I'm talking about when you're going and you get like fine chocolate or whatever, right?
Okay.
You're buying something like you're buying something a little bit above your normal grade candy.
Right. It's rather than going to the store, you're talking about like going to at the very least a C's Candy or a Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. I love my English toffee.
Oh yeah,
I love toffee.
English toffee.
I know a lot of people sometimes they
English
can't
toffee.
distinguish, you know, between caramel and toffee.
That's
but there is a
crazy.
distinct difference.
There is a very
I know.
distinct difference.
And I may get flack about this. I don't know. But toffee, to me, is 100% superior to caramel.
I said I am a caramel lover. I love caramel. Toffee is way better.
Yes, it is. It's the flavor is so, I don't know what it is. It's rich, but it's very like I don't know how to describe this. It's flavorful on all parts of the tongue. Because you know your tongue has like different regions of the tongue have different flavor receptors.
It's almost sensory overload.
Yeah.
I love English toffee, and I'm getting some tomorrow because guess where I'm going tomorrow? I'm going up to Arrowhead. We're going to Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
so
dude, you're lucky, dude.
Yes, I love English toffee. Good choice. I'm very happy about this.
Yes, dude. In matter of fact, you know, the place where I almost always have to get it from is when I go to Disneyland.
Oh.
Their toffee's pretty good. You know what I mean? For the price and everything and for the amount that you get.
Where do you get it from at Disneyland?
In any of their candy stores. They sell them in two different ways because I've seen them actually make like, I guess it's shaped differently. It's the same thing, but like you could buy it from their actual, like they have the bakery things that are like in the park, but also like out on downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And, but also, if you go to any one of their any of their stores that sell the candy, they have bags of it. And
so interesting. Okay, I know California Adventure has the Ghirardellis.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. But man, it's just all around better than caramel.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Okay, so the third thing I have here. Okay, I kind of want to. I have this as a slash. Like I have what I originally picked, but then I was like slash. And then I put this in there because I was thinking, you know what? If I had this, why not have the other thing
all right,
instead?
I'm so I want to be arbiter here.
Yeah, so I want you to give me your opinion on what I should have picked.
Okay, for sure. Let's say
I put down the entire Beatles music catalog, or slash just or the Beatles themselves.
You should have just chose. I think the Beatles.
Yeah,
the way I chose Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I was counting on you to choose the Beatles.
So that's why I was thinking in my head like. Because the first thing that just came to my mind was like, oh, I want all the Beatles music.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, well, why not just have the Beatles?
The reason I say the Beatles is because I'm not sure if I can speak for you in this regard, but I think I can, is as much as you love the music, you love what you love about the Beatles is more than just the music. Like, I'm sure you love the stories themselves, the persona, the vibe of the Beatles, and what the Beatles did for music in general.
Yeah.
So, like, they are more than just their music. There are a lot of other things as well.
Plus, in my head, and I know you said don't try to solve the problem, you know, type of thing. I get that, but I do like this thing that was going on in my head, which was like, well, if I brought the Beatles into this new world, who knows what else they would create?
That's true.
From
Things
there,
might have gone
you know what I mean? It could be
true.
Good. Yeah, you know, so.
Watch they break up before they even get to the Revolver
Oh,
album.
man, that would be... No.
Like, I should have chosen the catalog.
I tell the powers that be, okay, redo it again, reset again. But yeah, okay, so that was my next three.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so recap, that was English toffee.
Well, it was apple crumble or apple crumb, whatever. English toffee.
Apple leavings.
Yeah, and the Beatles.
All right, so back to me. Yeah, we're getting we're like right in the heart of my list here, and this is where the food is the most concentrated. So we still got a few more food items, and we're starting with a food item, if you will. In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, man.
I love In-N-Out. They make delicious burgers with good quality at an amazing price point.
Who wouldn't love In-N-Out?
There's a lot of In-N-Out haters out there, man. There's a lot of In-N-Out haters.
I have yet to meet them, but
and
yeah, I guess.
My opinion when it comes to In-N-Out haters is a lot of the arguments I see is that, like, oh, I can make a better burger at home. Or, such and such place or these places are so much better than In-N-Out. But the thing is, in my opinion, I think it's a flawed argument because of two reasons. Number one being, In-N-Out has its own distinct flavor.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, you could probably, like, if you tried really hard and nailed it just right, you could probably, like, nail the In-N-Out flavor at home. But that sounds bothersome when you can just go to In-N-Out to get it done. So In-N-Out, it's got its own unique thing that you can't go and get anywhere else. But the other bit of the argument that I think is a little more flawed is a lot of the places people tend to measure In-N-Out against are places like Shake Shack or Whataburger.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
Big chains that are kind of like, I don't want to say internationally famous, but nationally famous.
Yeah.
But the problem with that argument is that In-N-Out doesn't compete with those stores. In-N-Out is a fast food place with a drive-through with really low prices. The Shake Shack and all these other places are much more expensive. And yeah, you're getting really, really tasty food, but you're paying a lot for it.
Yeah.
Well, with In-N-Out, you're paying comparable to, if not less than, Carl's Jr., McDonald's, Jack in the Box, all these other places.
Yeah, that
and
is
you're
true.
getting much, much better food with a very unique taste, and it's very iconic here in California. And so, if anything, I think that argument just highlights how good In-N-Out is. The fact that it is punching above its weight class, and that people are measuring it against things that they should not be measuring it against.
Yeah, exactly. It's like measuring someone from the middleweight class fighting a heavyweight,
Exactly.
or even a lightweight fighting a heavyweight.
Yes,
and yet,
that's how I see it for sure. Exactly.
And the only reason you would do that is because this lightweight must be so good that you could be like, oh, well, you know what? What if he fought against, Muhammad Ali or something?
Yeah, absolutely. And for as long as the lines are, they don't take that long to get through, really.
Yeah, and because my God, their lines can get super
so
long and
all the time.
But like when you
times.
do wait in that line, it isn't you're not waiting for that long.
No,
you know what
you're
I mean?
really not. You're
compared
really
to
not.
like if it was at like a Jack in a Box or something.
I can't imagine a Jack in the Box line being that.
Yeah, one thing though about In-N-Out that I do really love is that because first of all, yes, you're right. The prices for what they serve, they are very cheap. Like if you just got yourself a burger, like it's just $1 or something,
Yeah.
But their menu is so simple. It's so
love
simple
it.
without
We've
that
talked about this on the
without
show.
that many items, right?
Yeah.
However, they are able to do so many variations with what they have on this limited menu that it makes it like it's almost doubles that menu. It basically doubles the menu just by having these weird variations of saying like, I want my fries well,
give me fries well done, an animal style burger with chopped chilies.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like you could do all that and it's a different
and a Neapolitan
meal.
shake, please.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever asked them for that.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to get that next time.
For sure. All right. Next on my list is one of my favorite things in the world. Obviously, it's on this list. And I enjoy looking at these things on a daily basis. Trees.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love trees, dude. They're one of nature's most beautiful creations, if you will. I love the variety. I love going on walks with my family, with my son, by myself, and just staring at the trees as I am either deep in thought or even trying not to think of anything, just trying to relax or trying to be creative or whatever it is. Like walking in a place with trees brings me peace, and I love it.
It does.
And trees are beautiful, and I wish we had more of them.
Yeah, and the forest, that's why I love the forest is one of my favorite, almost absolute favorite locations ever.
Yeah.
And it's another reason also too, like, I told you how we were talking about trying to move up to Oregon and stuff, like, when we went there, it was like living amongst the trees. That's one of the things I really loved about it.
Absolutely. Okay, and now we are at number 15 on my list. This is something compared to almost everything on this list. This is probably the newest thing in my life that made it onto the list. Adventure Time.
Oh yeah,
I think Adventure Time might be the greatest American cartoon ever made.
Oh really? It is
do.
funny. It is really good.
There's just so much about it that resonates deeply with me.
Yeah.
From all facets of my life, from childhood all the way to adult, whether it's like the whimsical, fun-loving, exciting energy of it to the more deep, like that show gets deeply philosophical in a lot of ways, and it tackles it in a way that a kid can digest to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But like there are some episodes where like I have trouble getting through it because like the questions they're asking are like start giving me an existential crisis, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I think the characters are fascinating and they go on unexpected places that also make sense. You fall in love with the world. You fall in love with the characters. You even fall in love with the art style, which I'm not saying the art style is like groundbreaking, but it's very unique, and it's got its own life to it. And I love watching it with my family. My entire family enjoys the show, and that's another cool thing about it is I can just put it on whenever. Because, obviously it's a kid's show, so kids can watch it. But I love that it's a kid's show that has so much there for adults, and that like I know if my kids are watching it, they are getting something out of it, even if they don't know they're getting something out of it. And few things have brought me to tears when it comes to like the things I watch. The finale of Adventure Time, I've watched it 4 times, every single time.
I'm only halfway through. I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've watched the finale like 4 times. And every time I cry.
Oh my God.
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful show. And it makes me laugh constantly. Yeah. But it also makes me think. And I love it. It's a great show.
If that didn't convince any of you out there that's listening right now of how much Will loves this show, I need to then reiterate and interject here and say this. And that is that Will loves this show so much. And this show has influenced him in many ways throughout the different phases of his life. So much so that not only did he convince me to start watching it, and I'm loving it, but I'm only halfway through. I think there's 10 seasons.
10 seasons.
And I'm like on season 5. But, he loves this show so much that he actually could talk about this show, make himself a whole new other podcast regarding this show. He actually knows that much he deep dives into this show. He knows every aspect of every character that's in this show, including not just characters, but like what the writers were trying to portray through the story and everything. And it was because of that passion when he was talking about it that it convinced me to watch it. And so I'm glad you did, because I'm loving it. I'm just trying to get through it.
There's like a lot to get through.
So many episodes. Yeah,
absolutely. That's one of like, if I had more time, I would definitely start a podcast about the Adventure Time. But I don't have time. So speaking of which, those are my 3. Let's move it back to you.
So my next one here, earlier I had mentioned at the end of the last podcast, you mentioned Rain.
Yes.
And I think I had mentioned to you that you picked something very similar to mine, but yours was more specific.
Oh, okay.
I chose Stormy Weather.
Oh man.
So so obviously that involves rain. But if I did have to still choose one thing, like let's say if I had to do like specifically, that would be lightning. I love lightning. Yeah, I love lightning, the thunder that comes after the lightning strike, all different kinds of lightning strikes that you see, the kinds that, look like, some of them look like they're coming, they go so fast, it looks like they're coming from the earth up.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? The bolts, but obviously they're not. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just, I
think lightning is a display of raw power from nature that fills a person with awe, for sure.
Yeah, that's
and a little bit of fear. But, I'm glad you changed to lightning, and let me tell you why.
Why?
I feel like it'd be so messed up to bring stormy weather to this planet, because with stormy weather comes all the really bad tornadoes and hurricanes and typhoons and all that stuff. But lightning, hell yeah, I love me some lightning. And I like storms too, but obviously not the storms that start to become detrimental to life.
Yeah, and the thing also too that I'm also liking that I'm switching it over to one specific thing is also what comes with stormy weather is wind. I actually hate wind.
No, that's interesting. I love the wind. I love rainy days. I can just open my arms out. Yeah, and
I don't know what it is. I don't like.
You're not the only person I met
blowing,
like that.
at my face.
Scarlett and Michelle, they hate the wind.
Yeah,
they think I'm crazy.
Things get kicked up. They like dust gets in your eyes. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
For sure.
The next thing here is something I've only been kind of doing recently, but my God, is it one of the most fun experiences I've ever had?
Okay,
escape rooms.
Oh, dude, escape rooms are so much fun.
Rooms. Yes, I know.
They're great.
Like me and my wife, when we first did one, and this was before she became my wife, we did one, I think, I can't even remember. Was it for her birthday or I don't even remember why. We want to do one, and literally in the same day we did 3 others. The same day because we were so hooked.
Yeah.
The problem is we have never finished and we've never escaped, dude. We've always gotten so close. And then at the very end it just didn't work out for us.
So I've only done a couple escape rooms, but I will say I do have a natural talent for them. It's just I can just tell it's the way my brain like it's very pleasing to my brain to like find something and like break it down and open it up and get to the next thing and find the next clue, and it's very pleasing. And yeah, we did one down in San Diego with, I think there was 4 of us, but it was a 7-man room, and I think our chances of they have calculated chances, and I think we were like under 22% to solve it. Man, me and one of my buddy's other friends who I just met that day, we were the main 2. We tore through that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got through like 80% of it, just the 2 of us, and then the other 2 did the other 20%.
Yeah,
but yeah, we did get close to failing though, because I think there was only a few minutes left.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Like, we were under the amount of people that were supposed to be in there, so I was very proud that we did it. It was like, yeah!
I remember, because like we've done many of them now too, a lot of them, and all of them all really good, and some of them, production value not as high, but still good, and other ones we've did that were the production values was very high.
That's awesome.
Like we did this one in Vegas that was a Saw, it was based off the movie Saw, right? Literally from the very beginning, you are in front of the factory, the meat factory, right? Remember? Everything's, the security guard's there, right? He comes out, because he's the one that actually like reads off who has the appointments. But he comes out of the gate like a real security guard. He's like, "Oh, okay, you guys want to take the tour of the factory? Okay, who's so and so and so and so?" And then he calls your name, and you go in there and you go through reception and you go through everything in there. Dude, was high production value,
really immersive. Huh?
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
I just want to really quickly the best experience I remember having when me and my wife first did one was. So we came across this one puzzle that was like, it was a combination of one of those wooden maze things that's like hung on the wall. Yeah. And you have to like,
guide a thing
through it.
Yeah.
My wife's really good at mazes like that, right? Once you get through the mazes, it opened up this one thing that gave you a clue to do a word puzzle, which was like what do you call it? Like a crossword puzzle, which I am very good at, right?
Nice.
Dude, we went through there, and I think the guy even mentioned something about how quickly we got through it. We went in there, we saw the maze thing on the wall, and my wife was like, "I got this." And she was like, boom, 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 boom.
That's
okay,
awesome.
finished. And then she got the clue, and I went over, and she's like, "Okay, the clue says," I can't remember what it is. I was just like, "The clue says this." And I was like, "Okay, well, the remaining letters is, it says this." Boom. And I got it right off the bat, dude.
Awesome.
That was the most, one of the most fun experiences.
Did you ever get to the Adventure Time episode where, I think it's Lemon Grab, Ice King, Shelby, Tree Trunks, and Nectar wake up in the middle of a dungeon and they have to figure out how to get out?
No, I don't think I've gotten that one yet.
Well, I won't spoil it too much, but it becomes very apparent that like the 5 of them were put together for a reason, because each one has the skill needed to get through the next room. And the way it comes together is really cool. And what you just described reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It was like you guys were meant for that room. That's awesome.
It was also funny because after that, we're both not that great at math. And after that was a big old math thing. And we got it wrong 3 times.
Need a third person.
That's what took the most time. We thought we had it right, and then we had to redo it 3 times. And we're like, we're stupid. That's not this answer. It's this.
Yeah, I feel you there.
And then the third thing here is something that I know that we love, especially me and my wife. That's Disney.
Oh my God, you guys are
so
obsessed
we're
with Disneyland.
we're putting the House of Mouse into this new world.
Oh no!
And
you brought the evil with us, Tom.
Yeah. And Mickey will conquer the new world. I mean, I could go into all the reasons of why I want Disney there, but I think it's all apparent. Everyone knows what Disney does.
You love Disney movies. You love Disneyland.
Yeah, the food. Yeah, I mean, like everything there is just it's the perfect combination of nostalgia and new things from like the movie, like the MCU and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see the appeal. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's my next 3.
Okay. All right. Next up is another food item for me. Now, this is the next newest item besides Adventure Time, because this was a item that was made for me by my fiance.
I know you.
And it has. It immediately became my 100% favorite dessert ever created.
Yeah.
So, my fiance knows that I love cherries. And my fiance is very good at making cheesecakes. And so she decided to make a very specific cheesecake. I call it her chocolate cherry cheesecake. But it is a cheesecake with Oreo crust.
God, so good.
A chocolate ganache. It's got chocolate chips in it. And on top, she does a reduced cherry. I don't know what she does, but it's like reduced cherry something, and it's just smothered
cherry
in these
goodness.
cherry goodness.
How's the pie?
And the flavor profile comes together. It's just amazing. Like I would have this over any other dessert, any day of the week. And you're gonna have some soon.
I was just about to remind you. I was like, don't forget, because you promised that you would save a slice for me.
Absolutely astounding. Like I've tried all our other cheesecakes, and they're all good. But that one like left me changed. And I'm bringing that over because I'm not losing that.
Yeah, I definitely. Oh my God, I want to. Ever since you always talked about that, and you told me, it's something that I'm like, oh, I got to try this.
I'm so passionate about it. My next item is the final food item that I have on this list, and this one goes back to my childhood. And I think this item is pretty polarizing. I feel like people feel strongly about this item, whether they really love it like I do or they absolutely do not like it. I'm a huge fan of clam chowder.
Oh, yes. Clam chowder is very good.
I love clam chowder. I love every kind of clam chowder. And especially, of course, in a sourdough bowl.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do when we got to go to the beach was on some of the colder, cloudier days, we'd go like down to the restaurant at the end of the pier and get like a bowl of sourdough bowl of clam chowder and just eat it while looking out in the ocean.
Yeah, that's so...
Man, I love clam chowder. I've made it myself from scratch. It's not that hard, but it does take...
Oh, really? You have? I've never attempted that in my life.
It's not too hard, but it takes a lot of different ingredients, but it came out really good. And it's funny, I was just telling Michelle the other day that I was going to make some pretty soon before winter's over.
Oh.
I love clam chowder. It's so good. It's the ultimate soup.
Yeah, that's also one of those foods where, like, that's almost like what you judge a seafood place for, you know, especially the kind that you go to the pier.
Absolutely.
You know, like, I know people are going to say, well, you judge them by seafood. Yes, that's true. But, but clam chowder, it's like the thing that, you know, I know I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? When I go there, I know I'm going to get that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if I went to a seafood place that had soups on the menu and you don't have that, I'm going to look at you kind of weird, you know, the restaurant.
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to be like, why would you not have that?
Yeah, and if I go to a restaurant at the end of the pier and they have clam chowder and it's not good, I'll be so disappointed.
Then they just lost your business probably for the whole time. Yeah,
and I'm going to tell everyone.
Never
exactly.
Go
there. The clam chowder sucks.
Standing outside with a sign, you know?
Absolutely. So this next item on the list is become so quintessential in my life in two very, very different ways, I guess you could say. But it's integrated in my life so thoroughly on a daily aspect that I can't imagine life without it. Number 18, podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
I love podcasts. Okay. I listen to podcasts all the time. So many podcasts. Every genre you can think of, about every... thing you can think of, whether it's baseball or history or cartoon reviews or comedy.
Yeah, you do listen to
or D&D. Like, I listen to so many podcasts. I kind of wanted to add audiobooks to this, but I was like, no, let me focus on podcasts, because the other aspect of this is I also podcast. Obviously, we're podcasting right in this moment. Yeah. And I enjoy doing it so much. It has become such a passion of mine. And it's also changed my life. Like, I podcast basically as my second job, and without it, like I would not be in the place I am now. So I'm very thankful that podcasting exists, both for my career, but also I'm passionate about listening to podcasts too.
Yeah, I'm very you know what, I know what you mean, because of the fact that even though I don't listen to that many podcasts like you do, there are only very certain ones I do listen to. However, you know, I am so glad that, you know, you did kind of bring me into this podcasting world, because it did change my life as well, because of the fact that I was feeling like very stifled. You know, I like to be creative. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I used to play music. I don't play music anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not in a band. I used to do improv. I'm not in any improv troupe right now. You know what I mean? So for the longest time, I just felt kind of like I wanted to be creative. I just didn't know how. I didn't have an outlet for it. And man, is this a great outlet for, you know, being creative.
It absolutely is. So that's my number 18. We're back to you.
So my next three are kind of weird. It's not. It's you know. It's,
are we getting
into
guilty pleasures here?
No, that's for a different list. No. So the next thing I have on my list, it was something that was inspired by when me and my wife were first dating.
Oh, okay.
And it's archery.
Archery, right? Okay.
So I remember when we were first dating, I think we both were starting to watch Arrow, the show, right?
Okay.
Before it went to shit. And
Right.
and but you know, I always like to do new things. And of course, when I was dating, you know, my wife now, when I was first dating her, obviously I was like, yeah, let's go out on a date, let's try new stuff, let's do new things. And one of them was archery, and I fell in love with doing it. Unfortunately I haven't had time to go back and do it recently, but we were there for a while. We would go probably every weekend or when we were off. And there's a place near our undisclosed location called the Riverside Archery. I think that's
you're getting closer and closer to that undisclosed location, Tom.
Yeah, I know. But it's called Riverside Archery, and it's a very nice place. And they have, you know, an indoor the indoor range, you know, in there. And we would go there because of the fact that first there was a Groupon for it where you got a beginner's lesson, but then after that you can just come back, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like maybe $15 an hour, if that. Okay. And they had all the equipment there that you could rent and use, right? We went there, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and then I bought my own bow from there.
I was going to ask you, do you have your own bow?
I got I think it was a 30-pound recurve bow. Okay. Usually 20 to 25 pounds, like for beginners, but
Michelle has a 20-pound one. Her uncle, we've shot with him. He's got a 40-pound one.
Yeah, that's probably heavy to
it
like.
Is,
yeah,
it is.
Because the 30.
Do you remember that big fucking bruise
that bruise you got?
Yeah, that was from that 40-pounder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about that place is the employees that work there. They're very thorough and they're very nice, and they'll help you out with everything you want to know about. Yeah. And that's what they did for me when I was explaining to them I'm interested in buying one. They were like, "Oh, okay, come over here. You know, grip this one. You know, hold this. Okay, let's take your measurement because you know depending on your measurements is also the length of the bow you could buy too for the recurve bow." They did all that, and then they even put me into their own little. It was like this little cave thing, you know, like off to the side where they watched you shoot, and they pull and they like measured when you're like how much you're pulling back, all that. They did all that just to make sure that they were like, okay, Tom, you know what? We know you're a beginner. Go with the 30-pound. Like, don't do the 20-pound. Don't do the 25-pound. Go with the 30-pound because your weight, your size, your height, you're able to pull this. You don't want it too easy because then after a while, you won't be as effective, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, is it fun. I love that.
So you have your own bow. I don't know what your backyard situation is, but no.
Okay. So I could. Unfortunately, the reason I don't is my walls that separate me from our neighbors are low and are kind of low. And if I ever accidentally didn't hit the mark, it would go over.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, both sides and behind me have kids, so I don't want to mess with that.
No, absolutely.
However, my driveway is very long and it goes up to my garage, and I made a makeshift giant target out of cardboard that I stuffed old jean pants into, and I used to practice on that, and I would do that. Yeah, it was so fun, dude.
Oh yeah.
The next one is something that I had a passion for, and I was very lucky on how I felt I was able to fall into this, and I didn't have to actually pay for the lessons.
Okay.
But it was something that I really loved, and I wish I could do now, but I can't because it's very expensive. It's just something I'm not in the budget for.
What is it?
Kung Fu Sansu.
Okay,
so there's Kung Fu, right?
Yeah,
you know,
I know what Kung Fu is.
And there's different styles of it.
I've seen The Matrix.
yeah, exactly. Right. There's the Matrix Kung Fu. No. Yeah. So like, so Kung Fu Sansu is a type of Kung Fu, right? That, in a nutshell, it basically teaches you the most direct and efficient way to dispatch your opponent and get away. It's literally like, how am I going to stop you from coming after me the quickest way and then getting away? No flashy, you know, none of this stuff. There's also no fixed movements. There's no like, okay, you must be standing like this with your right foot forward, and you must, you know, there's none of that.
Okay.
You know, it's similar to Jeet Kune Do in the way that
I don't know.
Oh, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was the founder of Jeet Kune Do, right? Okay. And basically, he was taught in a form of Kung Fu called Wing Chun, right? In Wing Chun, there's a lot of fixed positions. There's a lot of like, you know, you got to hit like this, and you have to do it like this, and you got to do it like this. Well, in Jeet Kune Do, he was basically like, well, you know, there's other styles that you can take that are more effective, and he basically uses the best of everything to strike and everything, more efficiently. That's basically what it is. Kung Fu Sansu is the same way. The ready position is you standing there. Because when someone's going to attack you or fight you, most of the time you don't know that's going to happen.
Right.
Like you're just going to stand there and somebody's going to try to attack you to steal your whatever.
Sure,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
And it was just so practical that I just fell in love with learning that art form. And it was through somebody that works with us, or he used to work with us. His uncle's a master, and he was teaching at a college. And so the person that I used to work with, he was teaching me a little bit after he would leave work, and then he would be like, "Hey, you know what, Tom? I'll just tell my uncle about you, and just walk in there like you're a student of the college," which I wasn't. He's all, but no one will ever check you. You can just walk in there, and then he'll teach you. And
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, and I got to do it for almost like half of a year.
Oh wow!
And it was so cool. But unfortunately, then he stopped teaching there, and then other places weren't. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's cool though.
And then here's another very different thing from those two
All right.
I have on my list.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you got?
Cherry Dr. Pepper.
So I mean, I love cherry soda. I love cherry Coke.
Yeah.
Cherry Dr. Pepper is good too. I love Dr. Pepper original though.
I do love, I mean,
for
some reason, I always think cherry anything soda, cherry soda, whatever, is always better. Like cherry Coke, cherry Pepsi, cherry 7-Up, cherry Dr. Pepper. Yeah. But Dr. Pepper is my favorite soda. So cherry Dr. Pepper is something that I really always love to ask for when I'm at a restaurant, knowing full well that they mostly carry like Coke or Pepsi, you know what I mean? But when they do have it, I'm always like,
Yeah.
Or a lot of places, not a lot, but some places they'll even be like, we have Dr. Pepper. I'll just put some grenadine in that, and it tastes really good that way.
Yeah, that's places without cherry Coke do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So after I shoot my bow and arrows and practice my Kung Fu Sansu, I'll drink a nice cold cherry Dr. Pepper
to quench your thirst. Hell yeah!
But now it's over to you.
Oh, okay.
Is there anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? Please hear me. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, this is Fritz Frivolous. I need your help. I'm stuck. Somehow stuck inside the minds of Will and Tom. I need to escape. Please support them and their podcast. You can go to patreon.com/dudecouldyouimagine or leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Distract them long enough for me to break free. You can even leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Again, don't forget about me, Fritz Frivolous.
So we're getting close to the end of my list. Number 19. This is something that I didn't notice how much I enjoyed this until, I want to say, not until my young adulthood, but looking back, I think I always enjoyed this thing, and I just didn't realize what I was enjoying. I love Sundays. The day Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday as in the day of the week.
That's an interesting choice. I wouldn't think you...
love Sundays. There's just something magical about them. I think the world's just a little quieter on Sundays.
Yeah, it feels like it, huh?
Here it is.
It does.
There's less traffic on the road. There's less people out and about. And I've always found like, oh man, I'm having a really good day. And then I'll notice, oh, it's a Sunday. Why are all my good days on Sunday? I don't know. I don't really have a great logical explanation besides the fact that because it's the end of the weekend, there are less people out and about. But if it's a Sunday, there's a chance my day's going really well. Because it's just a thing with me. I love Sundays.
That is awesome. No, that is awesome. I totally agree. I have nothing to really add to that because you are right though. I mean, it does feel like that. Sundays, you're right. It feels like those days where it's a restful day, but you have the option of if you want to go and do something, you could go and do it.
Yeah, I like to go for a walk. I like to go out with my family. I like to even just stay at home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. For some reason, I enjoy Sundays.
Yeah, like even staying at home watching TV or playing a video game on a Sunday feels different.
Yeah,
it feels more enjoyable somehow. That's weird. I'm gonna jump in here real quick.
Yeah.
Do your next. Okay, so that was one of your next 3, right? Do 5. Because I just calculated right now, and I'm ahead of you because of, remember my first 2 choices was my wife and my dog.
Yes.
So
okay. You want me to do 5?
Yeah, because then we'll be caught up. Yeah.
Okay. Number 20 on my list. I decided to be a little more general than I've probably been for this entire list. Miyazaki films. Hayao Miyazaki is a filmmaker from Japan. He makes anime. He has a very specific style. I believe he's the owner of Studio Ghibli. I don't know if he's the owner now that I think about it.
Spirited Away? Is he
Spirited
the one?
Away, yeah.
Okay.
But he's synonymous with Studio Ghibli, as some people call it. I'm not sure the
okay.
proper pronunciation. But his movies are all so phenomenal. And their art style is absolutely beautiful. And the types of stories that he likes to tell are absolutely moving. One of my top 10 movies of all time is called Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind.
Oh, yeah. That's the one you told me to watch. Yeah, it was really
that
good.
Movie,
yeah.
Which is a weird blend of like post-apocalyptic and fantasy. Spirited Away is a gorgeous, moving movie. And I love that his characters, he often does female characters, but they are strong female characters. Yeah. He doesn't over-sexualize anything in any of his stuff, which is a common problem I have with a lot of animes. And his storytelling is just really unique. He's like, a lot of people call him the Walt Disney of anime, and I think it's very fitting, yeah. And his movies just mean so much to me, and I love them all. And he's got just this amazing catalog of movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know he has more movies than the two that I've seen, but for at least the two that I've seen, my wife is the one that had me watch Spirited Away, and you're the one that had me watch Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. And both were very good. Yeah. I liked them. Yeah, I liked them a lot.
Number 21 on my list is it's a song, of one singular song. It's by a band called Queen.
Oh, okay.
And it's a song that was never popular in the Western world. But it was popular in Japan. I found out later in life, probably because about 50% of the lyrics are actually in Japanese, which I didn't know as a kid. This song made it to number 10 in the Billboard charts over in Japan when it came out. Now, this song was written by Brian May, the guitar player from Queen, which I find interesting because what I know about Queen and Freddie Mercury in particular and his life story, growing up, I always connected the contents of the song lyrics to Freddie's experience finding out that he had AIDS and, of course, having to figure out the rest of his life because he knew he was only going to be here for so long. Because the song is kind of about, the song's about after you die.
Oh, okay.
Basically leaving a message to your loved ones.
And it's in Japanese?
No, half of it is in Japanese.
Oh, half is in Japanese.
The song's called Teotoriate. And it is a very beautiful and moving song. And every time I hear it, I tell myself that this is a song that I hope they play at my funeral.
Oh, really?
It is just a beautiful song that basically imparts a very loving and uplifting message to those you leave behind.
And you said this was a song by the guitarist?
Well, he wrote the song, but it's the band that,
Yeah.
Queen.
But I mean, and the parts that are in Japanese, he knows Japanese like he knew.
Well, Freddie sings the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the band is Queen, but Brian May wrote the song.
And he learned Japanese for that? I always wondered.
I think Freddie knows Japanese. Yeah, I'm sure they both do.
I wondered that.
All right, well, okay. Well, since we're talking about Queen, Brian May is a fucking genius. The dude is not only one of the greatest guitarists in rock history, who is a like an engineering genius. Like he built his guitar from nothing up, and his guitar and the rig he has a very unique sound. No other guitar on the planet sounds like Brian May's guitar. Next time you listen to Queen, listen to a guitar solo, and you'll realize like, oh shit, there's no guitar on earth that sounds like that guitar. Like you know it the second you hear it.
I'll be hearing your voice saying that too.
Yeah. So not only that, the dude is an astrophysicist and the dean of a college.
Oh shit.
The dude is a genius.
Yeah.
Anyways, this song, it's amazing. Teotoriate. Go listen to it.
Yeah, I am gonna.
It's very moving. And what's cool about it is it's the chorus that's sung in Japanese, but he sings it once in Japanese, then once in English, and then it goes back to Japanese. So like you get what the meaning of it. I don't know how great the translation is, but you get the idea of it. Yeah. It's very moving. Teotoriate. That's 3. Number 22. Coffee.
Oh, okay. I know you love your coffee. Yeah.
I love iced coffee. I love frappuccinos. I love hot coffee, dark coffee, blonde coffee, any coffee. I love the caffeine part of it, especially because that's what I live off of. I never sleep.
Yeah.
But also, I just enjoy the flavor. I love a hot coffee on a cold morning. I love a cold coffee on a hot day.
Wait, I want to get something. I want to know exactly when you say flavor of the coffee.
Yeah.
How do you drink your coffee? Because are you talking about actual flavor of just coffee, or do you?
I like the blend. I don't
Okay.
drink my coffee black. Both Michelle and my sister drink it black, and they love it. They're
I
crazy.
can't understand that. Yeah, my
Don't get me wrong. Like I do like the flavor of coffee,
Yeah.
but it is strongly bitter, and
Mm-hmm.
so I do need it cut back a little bit. So, like on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being black and 10 being the way you drink your coffee, I land at about a 4.
Okay.
And this is not an exaggeration, people. I'm putting Tom on blast right now.
Yeah.
Tom puts so much creamer in his coffee. It's 50-50.
Yeah,
It's 50-50, folks.
I basically want a little bit of coffee with my creamer. That's what I like to drink.
I'm just like, why?
Because why would you want all that bitterness? And
It tastes good. It tastes good in the same way that, like, I don't know, if you eat like a walnut, right? It's got bitterness to it. But you like stout beer. Don't tell me you don't like bitter.
But I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. It is weird. You are right. You bring that up, and I can see your comparison. But coffee, the bitterness of coffee,
It's sharp.
Is different.
It's
yes,
sharp.
yes, it's very sharp.
If you wanna learn to like coffee, it's kind of like learning to root for a sports team. You have to just go all in. You have to be like, I know that like this isn't going to be natural, but I'm just going to force it, and eventually I'm going to realize I love it.
Yeah. I guess that's the way you have to do that.
So the final one of my 5 is a thing that is. Well, I mean, all I can say is it's incredibly important to me. I love the Beatles. I love Led Zeppelin. I've talked about that to no end. I know a lot about classic rock. Grew up on it. I know a lot about music before classic rock. But the one genre that means more to me than anything, I love it for 2 reasons. And the thing is heavy metal. I love metal. And that's metal all the time. From classic metal to death metal to melodic death metal to power. God, I love power metal.
That's a lot of metal.
Thrash metal. Yeah, I love metal. So for 2 reasons. Number 1, growing up, troubled childhood, lot of anger. Heavy metal really helped me like get it out in a healthy way. And to this day, it's a great way to just like really like let out the frustration of life in a healthy way. And number 2, I played guitar for a long time, since I was 12 years old. And I played in quite a few bands throughout my teenage years. But it wasn't until I decided I wanted to cut my teeth on some thrash metal and start trying to play that kind of music. That's when I found what my hands were meant to do on a guitar.
Oh, okay.
Like, I can do a lot of things, but like metal just comes to me so naturally.
Yeah.
And it's what my hands want to do. It resonates with my soul. It resonates with my heart.
Was it like that strike of lightning in your head when you figured it out?
It was like lightning in a bottle. It
Dang.
was like this is what I'm meant to do on this instrument. And I love metal, and I wish metal had wider acceptance because it's such good music.
Yeah.
But those are my 5.
Wow. Okay. We are caught up now. So that was what, 23 that you just finished?
Yeah, just finished number 20.
So we only have 2 left each.
Yep.
And I know we kept talking about this, but I have my last 2 items are food items.
Wow. I thought for sure my number 24 was something you were going to have on yours.
Oh, really?
And I think you're going to be disappointed in yourself for not having it.
I probably will.
It's cool. I got you covered. So
okay, I know, which is good. See, that's why I was glad that the powers that be chose us too.
Unless you said this and now I'm not remembering from last time.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead with your 2.
I'm choosing. I actually have 3. I actually had 26 just in case if we did have one of those things. So I'm going to take away one. I'm actually going to be sacrificing it, even though I do love it.
Yeah.
But my next 2. Okay, so one is they're both Korean dishes.
Okay, cool.
They're both soups that I love.
Right.
And they're both something that my mom used to make. Well, she still makes one of them. Or I mean, she still makes both of these, but not often. One is called Kimchi Jjigae.
Okay.
And it's I don't know if a lot of people who eat Korean food, that they always serve like this side dish. It's called kimchi. It's basically like a spiced fermented cabbage. It's usually spicy. But you usually eat it with like other stuff with your meal. Like it's like something
garnish.
it's a garnish, exactly. Yeah. But kimchi jjigae is like a soup that you have, like the way my mom makes it especially, it's all kimchi, right? You boil it up, you add water, make it a soup, but then you also add in this pork belly, this sliced up pork belly, and the meat melts into the soup a little bit, and then it gives it that
Probably
flavor,
fatty,
like that
fatty flavor,
that pork fatty flavor, you know. And it's just so good. And what I like to actually do is I don't like very soupy things. So what I do is I'll make rice and I'll pour this over the rice just enough so that the rice starts to expand and it absorbs all of it. Okay. Oh my God, is it so good, dude? And on a cold day, you have this steaming bowl of kimchi jjigae. It's so good.
That's cool, dude. That's awesome.
And the same goes for this next thing. It's the same thing. It's more of a broth. It's called tokug. Mm-hmm. And tokug is like, it's like these, it's made out of rice, but it's like rice patties. I don't know how to describe this. Okay. They're like little rice patties. It's not only flavorful, but I mean the rice patty itself doesn't have that much flavor. It's made from rice. Mm-hmm. We all know what rice tastes like.
Yes.
But the soup itself, you know, that has a lot of the flavor. It has a lot of you know, like green onion in it, you know, like the beef, because you also cut up beef in there and you very thinly sliced beef and you cook them up and then you put it in there. Mm-hmm. You know, garlic and all that kind of stuff in there. But then you put the little rice patties in there. And even though those don't really enhance the flavor, it's the texture of them when you're eating this broth.
Right.
And my mom and wife think I'm crazy because like they love it when it's freshly made. That's how normal people eat it.
Yeah,
I'm not normal, Will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not normal because
you eat it cold?
No.
Okay.
I do eat it hot, but I wait. I like eating it like the next day.
Oh,
because
no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, because
it's gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the rice patties will expand and it'll become a thicker stew with it's so good. And I do the same thing. I add even though it's redundant because you have rice patties in it. I'll make white rice and I'll dump it in a bowl and I'll pour this soup over it so it absorbs it more and it just makes it such a hearty meal. Like that's something that you just wish like whenever I watch any of those fantasy shows and they go into this tavern and they give them this bowl of soup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I imagine in my head it probably tastes like. Or what I would hope that this, in those days you would go and you get this wooden bowl of steaming tokug soup and you're just, oh God, it would be,
For sure.
It would be so up.
That's cool.
But that's my 25.
All right. There's your 25. All right. Here's my number 24. I wish I could say I remembered if you said it or not, but I don't think you did. If you didn't, you're going to be mad at yourself.
Like I was when you mentioned Las Vegas. I was mad at myself because I love Las Vegas. I would imagine
you're going to be mad at yourself. So long as you didn't say it, I'm not misremembering. Number 24, dogs.
Well, I did say Chewy.
Said your dog.
You're right.
That's
you're
true.
right. So like that's only one.
General.
Yeah. Okay, I hate myself.
I love dogs.
I
know you do too. I grew up with dogs. I grew up with a lot of animals, like a lot of different types of pets and stuff. But I grew up with a lot of different dogs, a lot of different breeds. They really are a man's best friend. No other being will love you as much as your dog loves you. Just true, unconditional adoration, and trust. And it's a trust that like it breaks my heart when I see owners break the trust of their dogs or like mistreat their dogs. It just absolutely breaks my heart. When I was young and looking back, this should not have ever been allowed, but there was a lot of things that probably shouldn't have back then. But I remember being like 11 years old, hopping the fence with my two dogs and just going up in the hills for hours and hours on end, exploring, rock climbing, catching other animals.
What kind of dogs were those?
I had a Labrador, and at the time it was a Labrador and a pug.
Oh, those are two good dogs.
Two great dogs. Yeah, and we would go out there and we climb those hills and just be out there, dude. I used to catch tarantulas. I used to catch lizards and snakes and all kinds of animals. It was just what I did.
Yeah,
and I had a great time, and I love those dogs. They're obviously long gone at this point.
Yeah.
I wish I had a dog now. Right now I don't. Michelle's allergic, but eventually we will get a hypoallergenic dog. But there's no better friend a kid can have than a dog.
Seriously.
And right now my son, he's not 1 year old yet, he's 7 months now, but we just started introducing him to my father and a mother-in-law's dog.
Oh, okay. What kind of dog do they have?
They have a pit bull.
Oh, okay.
Man, he goes crazy. He gets so excited, whether it's the wagging of the tail or she moves her face up, close to us because she wants the pets on the head. Mm-hmm. He just starts laughing.
I hear pit bulls are good with babies too.
It's an interesting fact about pit bulls. Originally, back a long time ago, they were originally bred to be nanny dogs. Like they're particularly good with kids.
Yeah. That's probably why they are.
In my experience, pit bulls are pretty dang good with kids. But I haven't had pit bulls that were like bred for fighting, which is, I think, disgusting. But a lot of pit bulls are and have been. But most of the pit bulls, the problem I've had with them is that they're very, very, very good with people, but they're not good with other dogs. And that actually extends to their dog as well. She's fabulous with people, loves people. She does not get along with other dogs. But yeah, even so, and even though I trust the dog, like it doesn't matter breed or anything like that when it comes to my son because he's a baby. Like I don't want him getting too close to her face or anything. Oh yeah, like that, because he might poke an eye or something. You just
it may not be on purpose. It just the dog doesn't know. Yeah.
Exactly, the dog's an animal. It's gonna act the way an animal does. But that being said, love dogs, and it looks like my son does too.
That's awesome though. I can't wait when you do get this hyperallergenic dog, because that's almost the route we went to. My wife's not allergic or anything, and neither am I or my mom or anyone, but it was just something that I was like, oh, you know what? Because I remember reading about them, and a lot of the hypoallergenic ones, like I think there was I think it's a Labradoodle.
Yeah,
I think those are hypoallergenic, and those dogs are so awesome. But they're big; they get big.
Yeah, they do. That's definitely on the list on the radar.
Okay, I'm glad you covered that for us because I would be pretty sad with no dogs in our new world.
Oh, I know. And one last thing about dogs is I just realized that. So my sister, she has a pug named Ophelia. The cutest dog on earth. I swear to God.
I like that name too.
Ophelia. Yeah, I know. We call her Ophi, but yeah, it's Ophelia. And the thing is, like, my sister, whenever she comes over, because that dog and her are attached to the hip, but she can't bring Ophi over because Michelle's allergic, right? We're going up to Arrowhead tomorrow. My sister's coming in her own car. She's bringing Ophi.
Oh, that's
my
cool.
son's going to finally meet Ophi. And I can't wait. That's going to be so exciting.
Yeah, and your son's probably going to go nuts. He's probably going to love you.
He's either going to go nuts or he's going to start screaming because he's scared. Oh, maybe, but we'll see. And now we finally made it to the final item on my list. This one, number 25 was the hardest for me to think of because there was a lot of contenders, but none of them felt like they made the cut. And then this one dawned on me, and it dawned on me because I was looking through my Nintendo Switch catalog. I was going through my catalog, and I noticed, or I was going through it by time played, right? And the number one game on my Switch played, most hours, is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
And that made me think about, number one, I love the game, and I love all the times I played the game. But it made me think specifically of my childhood and the times where I would go over to friends' houses, or there'd be like a sleepover at a friend's house with a bunch of kids. And the most fun we ever had during those years was couch co-op gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was us taking turns or us, playing fighting games against each other. And to this day, I love co-op games. Whether I'm playing Mario Party or Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, or lately we've been playing Diablo 3. Hell, I spent almost 300 hours with my fiance playing Minecraft Dungeons. Co-op gaming is so much fun. And I know in today's world, online gaming is kind of where it's at. I get it.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah,
I get it. I understand why, but nothing for me will beat couch co-op gaming.
Yeah.
It is such a wonderful way to spend time with your loved ones. And I love gaming. I love my loved ones. It's great.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. I'm glad you picked that because of the fact, you're right. It is weird that back in the day, couch co-op was the only way that you would play with, there was no online, you know what I mean? If some of you young listeners out there, were wondering, back in the day, man, there was no online gaming.
Online gaming didn't start to even become a thing until I was basically out of high school. Because even when I was in high school, do you remember LAN parties? Did you ever go to a LAN party?
No, I never went to one, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember LAN parties for Halo, LAN parties for StarCraft or whatever. That was the thing. And then,
It is funny though now because the couch co-op option of playing a game now, to me, is that rare, bonus I'll look at when I'm deciding to buying a game, depending on what I'm buying the game for. Because, sometimes I'm buying a game where I know it's just me, I'm going to play this game, and I want it because I like the story or whatever. And then there's some of them where it's strictly I know I'm just going to play Battlefield 2042, which I'm playing all the time right now.
Right.
And that's all online, right? Yeah. But there are those rare ones me and my wife just played, it's called It Takes Two.
Oh, right.
Phenomenal game. If there's any couples out there, or just friends even, get this game and play it. It is fun. But yes, it is couch co-op, meaning that you have to be sitting there with each other. There's something special like that. Like me and one of my friends, me and David, I remember we had a moment where we were playing Diablo 3, which has the option of being couch co-op. And it's different than having to talk to your friend through your headset than when you're there and you both can point at the same screen in front of you.
Because like you're talking about it simultaneously. It's all happening. And then it's like, oh shit, pause. I gotta go to the bathroom. All right, I'm gonna grab some pizza. Did anyone want some? Like,
exactly. Hold on, I got Cheeto dust on my fingers. Let me wipe this off. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. So, it's to the my best friend in the world, Gurdeep, who I only get to see like once or twice a year. One of the things that we do for a majority of the day is we fire up whatever game that we're into playing at that time. Sometimes it's Smash Brothers, sometimes it's something else. And we just game for 5 or 6, 7, 8 hours straight while catching up on everything over the last year of our lives.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that since we were in the first grade.
Yeah.
And hopefully we continue to do that into our 70s.
That's what I'm hoping to do. That's one thing my mind is very curious about is how gaming's going to be when I'm 70, 80 years old.
Right.
Well, we finished the list, Will.
We did it. We made the perfect world.
I think I was just about to say, a big lesson I've learned is that if this actually ever happens, I feel like our world is going to be all about relaxation and fun and entertainment and good food. Like this is what the world should be about.
It'll also only have one sport, baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll have 3 really good bands.
Yeah, 3 really good bands, good music, good food. I mean, come on. What else could you ever want?
We'll have the rain in the ocean. Jack in the Box tacos.
Yes, exactly. But dude, could you imagine? I open my mind's eye and peer into the dimensions, looking for those who will speak or give noticeable mention, whether they be new or with us all along. Let me hear all the messages from beyond. And we're back. Will, I have messages from the beyond.
Woo!
And guess what? Guess what the first message from beyond is?
Let's hear it.
Another 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So, this is from Beast Mode 11106.
Thank you, Beast Mode 11106.
Yes, thank you very much. Beast Mode 11106. They write, I heard about this via the Dungeon Cast Discord. It's a great show. The fact that this may be featured in the traffic report, which is now Messages from Beyond, later really influenced me making this. And I think this is so cool. You receive so much input from fans. So Beast Mode, yes, your influence of making this because it might be mentioned has come true.
Mm-hmm. Your message is pierced the fabric of reality and made it to us here in this new dimension.
Yes, we have received it from beyond. And he also writes, they also write, anyways, if you are reading this to see whether or not this podcast is worth your time, do it. It will not let you down.
All right. Thank you for the kind words.
Yes, thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. We also had some other messages from beyond here while we were on break, and I just want to mention just a few of them here. On our YouTube, for episode 43, the last one of season 1, is called 'Twas the Year Before Christmas. Our friend Sasha Titus writes, the military tries shooting Jack out of the sky because he's dropping off horrific gifts that are terrorizing the children. Okay. She's talking about remember how we were saying what happens when the Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah.
Remember you mentioned something about like, oh yeah, Jack's flying over. Why were they shooting? Like, or something with the military. I think she's answering it right here.
Okay. He was causing problems.
Yeah. They shoot Jack out of the sky because he's dropping off horrific gifts that are terrorizing children.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Sasha also says, FYI, it's not Tom's age. I'm the same age, and everyone I knew when Nightmare came out was obsessed with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember you said you weren't that obsessed with it.
Yeah.
My entire generation was.
We also had a message on YouTube for episode 42, Hawaii 2 Redo. Quentin Bissell? I think I'm saying that right. Quentin Bissell says, I think the U.S. would send a Noah's Ark of people with applicable skills, carpenters, and the like, just to get everything set up smoothly and accurately.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think
sure.
that's
Absolutely.
how that would happen.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, we did have another YouTube one, and this was for when we released our season 2 intro.
Oh. Okay.
Darnell Hudson just writes, that piano got me shivering.
Awesome. Thank you, Darnell.
And then one of the last things that we recently received a message from Beyond through our email.
Oh, okay.
From Chris Thompson. And they had some kind words here. They said, was listening to your the episode, this was one a while back, Pixel
Perfection.
Perfection, yeah. And the movie that I was talking, he says, and the movie Tom is talking about is called Perfect Sense. By the way, loving the podcast helps keep my mind occupied at work, and it offers some interesting conversation starters with my friends. Keep up the good work, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember, there's a lot of times, and I'm glad that Chris Thompson had wrote in saying that, because I know there's a lot of times on our episodes where we're always like, oh, wait, I think I saw this movie, especially me, and I can never remember the name,
Right.
But it was Perfect Sense.
Okay,
so.
For sure. Well, thank you, everybody. If you guys want your messages from Beyond right on the show, all you have to do is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or go to YouTube and leave a comment on one of our episodes.
And don't forget, you could always even have one of your questions, if you have one, featured if you join our Patreon at patreon.com/dude could you imagine. The podcast you have just heard are the imaginings from the highly evolved minds of the extra-dimensional beings, Will and Tom. It has been translated into a format more easily understood by the human mind. Interpret it as you will. Should you find yourself seeking more answers to life's most intriguing mysteries, you can show your support by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/dude could you imagine. You can also leave an Apple Podcast review. You can subscribe to us on Instagram at dude_could you imagine, on Twitter at DCYimagine, and on our YouTube channel, where you can leave a like and a comment. We can also be reached through our email, dudecouldyoimagine@gmail.com. We leave you now so that you may gather your thoughts, until we meet again, to ponder the meaning of the cosmos and ask, dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Well, I did say
You
Chewy.
said your
yeah,
dog.
you're right.
That's
you're
true.
right. So,
Like,
that's only
dogs in
one. Yeah.
general.
Okay, I hate myself.